Wayward spouse here. If I zoom out, this didn't start with my most recent affair. It started with how I'm wired and how long I ignored that. I grew up chasing validation. My parents weren't abusive, but they were emotionally distant and critical. I learned pretty early that if someone liked me, flirted with me, praised me, I felt alive. If they didn't, I felt like I didn't exist. Fast forward college. I had my first emotional affair my final year. I had a boyfriend, now my husband, and I let another guy become my secret emotional life. Nothing physical, but I was sharing everything with him and hiding it from my boyfriend. After that, there was another EA at my first real job. Long, intense, again, just talking, but was an affair nonetheless. I married my husband anyway. He has always been the forever guy for me, stable, kind, loyal. 2 years into our marriage, I had another little thing. With a friend, I framed it as a brief emotional lapse and a one-time hookup. I confessed, cried, said it was stupid and meaningless. He forgave me. We did the whole rebuild thing and honestly found a good rhythm again. For years, it felt like we were solid. But underneath that, nothing in me had really changed. I cut off the friend, but I didn't address why I kept needing outside validation so badly, or why I lied so easily by omission. As long as things looked okay, I convinced myself they were okay. Fast forward again, the last few years. I hit this perfect storm of depression and perimenopause. My body felt wrong, my brain felt foggy, I was tired and flat and angry all the time. I felt emotionally isolated in the marriage, but I never really said that out loud in a clear way. I hinted, I sulked, I snapped. I resented him for not magically knowing what I needed. And at the same time, I was terrified that if I really told him how lonely I felt, he'd see me as too much and leave. So I bottled everything up. I started living more in my head, scrolling, daydreaming, fantasizing. That's when the most recent affair started. I've been calling it a mental health episode because that's what it felt like from the inside. I was numb. I couldn't feel anything. Then this guy, not my type at all, honestly, kind of the opposite, started paying attention to me. It was at a point where my sense of self was so low that any attention felt like a drug. I told myself it was harmless talking. Then I went to his place once. Then again, it turned into sex. I didn't feel any romantic connection. Half the time I felt sick and dissociated. He wasn't good to me. He was selfish and sometimes cruel. And I still kept going back because I was desperate to feel anything other than the emptiness and shame I already had. I lied to my husband. I gaslit him when he sensed something was off. I minimized. I told myself I'd stop soon, that this wasn't really me, that it had nothing to do with him. On some twisted level, that's true. He didn't cause this, but my choices absolutely affected him. D-Day was a few weeks ago. He confronted me with evidence, and I couldn't lie my way around it anymore. I cut contact with the AP immediately. I also admitted that what I'd always called an emotional affair plus one stupid hookup earlier in our marriage was actually a year-long emotional and physical affair. He found old backups later that proved it anyway, along with hints of yet another EA ending about a year ago. So from his point of view, it's not one slip. It's years-long betrayal. He's shattered. And I can't even blame him. We started individual counseling for me. The therapist is trauma-focused, and honestly, it's brutal. I get so anxious before sessions I feel sick. After sessions, I come home raw and angry and end up taking it out on him emotionally, even though he's the last person who deserves it. He says he's tired of being my unofficial depression counselor while also trying to process his own trauma from my betrayal. He keeps asking, if I had no attraction to the AP, if the sex wasn't enjoyable, if the guy wasn't even my type, how could I keep going back? How do you spend hours at someone's house, sleep with them, text them, and feel nothing? From inside my head, it makes sense in that awful way. Addiction makes sense. I liked feeling chosen. I liked feeling wanted. I liked escaping my real life for a bit. The actual sex was whatever. The guy was not kind. There were moments I felt straight up disgusted with both of us. But I kept going back because my brain decided any feeling was better than feeling nothing. Right now, we're still living together. He has stopped saying I love you to me. I tell him that things I said in affair fog about him or our marriage aren't valid. I want him to forget those words because they came from a broken, selfish place in me, not from the truth about him, but I know he can't just unhear them. He's hinted that this might be an exit affair. He's also said he wants to see what I do with therapy before he makes a final decision. I feel sick and ashamed when I look back at what I've done, but I also know shame alone doesn't fix anything. Update: when I first posted, D-Day was still pretty fresh. I was in that white-knuckling stage of recovery. I had gone no contact with the AP, started trauma therapy, said all the right words about accountability. I thought if I just worked hard enough, he'd see I was changing and we'd be okay. Then I relapsed. About 6 weeks after D-Day, when things between my husband and me felt especially tense and distant, I responded to one of the AP's messages. It started with one. Then I answered another one. Then there were a few days of low-level back and forth. Nothing explicitly sexual, but there was enough emotional charge there that I knew exactly what I was doing. I told myself I wasn't really breaking no contact. I told myself I needed closure. In reality, I was chasing that old hit of feeling chosen again. My husband found the messages. He said, "I can't even get few weeks of honesty from you?" He's not wrong. Since then, something has changed between us. He's still here physically, but I can feel him pulling away. He doesn't ask about my therapy. He stopped doing the "let's talk this through" thing. When I try to bring up feelings, he just says, "Talk to your therapist, not me." I've realized how much I leaned on him as my emotional processing center. I'd unload all my guilt and confusion on him and then wonder why he looked exhausted. Now he's put that boundary up, and I'm seeing how empty my own coping skills are without him propping me up. He's also started challenging my "it had nothing to do with you" line. I still believe he didn't cause my cheating, but it's true that some of the narratives I spun during the affair were about our marriage, that he was distant, that he didn't really see me, that he'd never understand me anyway. Those thoughts were part of how I justified what I was doing. Now, when he says he's internalized those things and can't just erase them, my instinct is to say, "But that was the affair fog, it wasn't real, you shouldn't take it to heart." I can hear how invalidating that sounds. I'm basically telling him that the things I actually said and did that hurt him deeply don't count. The therapist suggested a structured disclosure and even mentioned a polygraph as a way to help rebuild trust. I panicked. I shut down hard. I said no, I wouldn't do a polygraph. I couldn't handle it. I have panic attacks just thinking about it. To me, it feels humiliating and terrifying. That's just it. The biggest difference now is that he's no longer trying to save this with me. He told me last week. That cut deep, because for the first time I believed him. There was no desperation in his voice, just this tired calm. He still does daily life stuff with me. He stopped talking about our future. There's no more "when we're old" jokes. He signed up with his own therapist and told me he wants to focus on his healing with or without me. I'm scared that without me is where this is heading. And for the first time, I'm scared. Final update. We're separated now. He moved out about a month ago. He had already found a small place to rent. He'd already talked to a lawyer, apparently. I cried. I begged at first. I went straight into panic mode, promising big changes, offering transparency, saying I'd finally do the full disclosure, even the polygraph if that's what it took. But he just shook his head. Since he left, the silence has been intense. For the first time in my adult life, there's no partner in the next room to lean on or perform for, no secret AP texting me, no one telling me who I am. It's just me and a lot of space. The affair itself hasn't magically become less gross in my memory. If anything, with distance, I see more clearly how degrading it was. Not just what the AP did, but what I agreed to. He lied to me, used me, said awful things about my husband while I sat there and let him. He fed my narrative that my husband was boring and emotionally unavailable, and I ate it up because it made it easier to keep doing what I was doing. I used to tell myself that I was a victim too, because the AP also gaslit and manipulated me, and because I was in a mental health episode. I don't deny that I was in a dark place. I don't deny that the AP was awful, but no one forced me to go to his house. No one forced me to keep going back. I chose him over my husband again and again. I chose lying and hiding over uncomfortable honesty again and again. As for him, I hope he finds peace. I hope he finds someone who doesn't make him question his reality every few years. I used to think the worst thing that could happen was losing him. I've realized the worst thing was becoming the kind of partner who made staying with me hurt more than leaving.